watching the recording. Once I'm done, I'm going to hand over to Teresa, who is partnered up with me on this whole Wellness Revolution series. But to give you a bit of an idea, why am I qualified to be teaching you guys this stuff? Why should you be offering me your time and energy today? My background is in nutrition and functional medicine. And I've been working the last few years with clients, both in person and virtually. My history really, or the way I got into this industry is purely through my own health challenges that I had for about 15 years, dealing with chronic inflammation, cystic acne, low energy, infections, internal infections. I had no idea that I was dealing with for many, many, many years. And through going through a health journey myself, trying to figure out how to heal my body through holistic natural medicine, I developed a passion for this work. I unfortunately for many years felt very let down by conventional medicine and a lot of the doctors I was in contact with. So I really took things into my own hands and learned how to heal my body naturally myself. I then went back to school, got qualified professionally as a nutritionist and functional medicine coach, and now I help other people do the same thing, really focus on root cause treatment. I started up a practice about 3 years back. I was in the US for 8 years, started up a practice this side. I then returned to South Africa in 2021 and started up a nutraceutical company there called Vitamin G Nutraceuticals, where we create supplements or nutraceuticals based on or with the intention to help you reverse chronic and autoimmune conditions, as well as help you achieve optimal health. On a personal note, I live part of the year in the US, part of the year in South Africa, and most recently part of the year in Turkey. I am incredibly passionate about meeting new people, have a very adventurous spirit, and include health and wellness in everything that I do. Teresa, over to you.
Thank you so much, Steph, and hello to everybody. So I'll give you a very quick background. I support the Learning and Development Department at Wellness Warehouse, and my background is in nutrition as well as health coaching. And as with so many people, I also had a serious diagnosis that made me sit up and listen and realize that I truly needed to embrace food as medicine. And so my wish for all of you tonight is that you take the parts of this workshop that truly resonate with you and that you apply this to your daily life. So you don't have to wait for a diagnosis before you start implementing changes in your life. So let me kick this off by saying that there is no one-size-fits-all approach. We all differ in age, in weight, in height, in eye color, in the level of our fitness, in our food preferences, and even in just general life experience. So how can we then expect that the same approach will work for all of us? What we need to do is to gently just tune in to our own body's innate wisdom and then allow it to guide us on our personal health journey. And that really is what it's all about. This is a journey. There is no set end goal. There is no quick fix and there is no silver bullet. It really is a journey. And guys, if your body guides you to have a piece of cake instead of a helping of broccoli, it doesn't mean that you are a failure or that you are weak. It just means that you need to get back on track again. And please be kind to yourself along this process, because often negative self-talk can be much more damaging to your health than any kind of piece of cake. And so with that, I'll hand back to Stephanie so that she can tell you more about what to expect tonight.
Thank you, Teresa. All right, so to give you just a brief overview and background of what we are doing here, myself and Teresa, as well as a few other members at Wellness Warehouse, have decided to come together to bring you guys a workshop series called The Wellness Revolution. We are both teams, Unlimited You and Wellness Warehouse, are incredibly passionate and determined to create a wellness revolution, to clear out the junk that we have been taught, to break the patterns that so many of us are following from very young, that we're installing in our own kids, that we just see in society at the moment, what's being taught around what is healthy and what isn't. We are very passionate to break that and support you guys in creating health in your life. Unfortunately, being healthy is not something that we can do naturally anymore. It is a skill that we need to learn. Between our food system, our medical system, the media, everything, it sets us up to unfortunately not really succeed in creating health in our life. And Teresa and myself, as well as the other members at Wellness Warehouse, are determined to break this and to really shift what healthy living looks like for you. And we are doing that through these series of workshops, starting off with the Eat for Energy. We really want to come back to the basics, guys. If you wanted to climb Kilimanjaro, you can't just book a spot and go climb it. You need to start with the basics. You got to get your gear. You got to start your training, you know, by maybe walking 1 kilometer a day or whatever the case is. You can't just go and climb the mountain. We need to, as Maureen said in the chat, we got to look at that low-hanging fruit. And that's what we're going to be discussing today. I am going to be sharing, myself and Teresa are going to be sharing quite a lot of information. We are going to give you a lot of knowledge today. And we don't expect you to remember absolutely everything. We're going to make this as simple as possible. We don't expect you to remember everything, but you are going to have some golden nuggets that you can take away. And the thing is, I don't know if you've ever heard that saying that knowledge is power. I don't necessarily agree with that, because knowledge is not power, but it's what you do with that knowledge that is the critical part. So we are going to give you guys the knowledge, but it's up to you. We encourage you, we invite you to take what you are learning here today and go and implement it. It is not difficult stuff. Any questions you have, put it in the chat. As I'm sharing, Teresa will be monitoring the chat. When Teresa's sharing, I'll be monitoring the chat. So we will answer all your questions. And then at the end, we will also do a Q&A. We're going to be diving into really starting at the beginning, helping you develop a healthy relationship with food. We're going to speak a little bit about the most common mistakes that people are making. I'm going to start off there. We're going to give you some tips on how to shop, how to cook, how to eat. I'm going to ask you guys, sorry, just to participants. Give me a second here, guys. I'm going to mute whoever is not muted. There we go. All right, so we're going to be giving you some tips on how to shop, how to cook, how to keep your blood sugar balanced, what to do when eating out. And then towards the end, we will also be sharing with you, if you want to take what you've started here today, if you want to continue this journey and go a little bit deeper with the work, there will be a couple different opportunities for you guys to do that if it's something that you feel would be a good fit for you and it's something that you would like to do. So put in the chat, me, if you are excited for us to get going. I do encourage you to be engaging in the chat. I always say, if you are going to be in the room, be in the room. So participate, engage. The more you engage in this workshop, the more you're going to get out of it. This is not a lecture, a college lecture where you are sitting in the hall, falling asleep halfway through. Be engaging. We're going to have a lot of fun with this as well. Just give me a thumbs up. I can see a few cameras on. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me. Is there any lag? Are we all good? Okay, fantastic. So to start off, I want to be cognizant of the time here. So I'm going to run through these things quite fast. But if you want more information on any of this, guys, you have my contact information. Just reach out, let us know. We can also cover this at the end as well. But the most common mistakes that I see people making that is preventing them from creating health, that is interfering with them eating well, that is not getting you the results that you want, that you need, and that is keeping us sick. The things are not eating enough. Number one, not eating enough of the right foods and eating too much of the wrong foods. Feel free at any point, no judgment, put me in the chat. if this is a mistake you feel that you make. And I can guarantee you now, every single one of these I have either done a lot of in the past or even currently still do from time to time. So this is not about judgment. This is just awareness, guys. Are you doing these things that are preventing you from getting the results that you want and creating health in your life? So not eating enough of the right foods, eating too many of the wrong foods. Yo-yo dieting and not sticking to something long enough for it to actually work. We sometimes go onto a diet or a plan for 7 days, 10 days, 12 days, and think, well, I've only lost like half a kilogram. This is not working. My sleep is not improving. This is not working. But it takes about 90 days for you to really see proper results. So not sticking with something long enough is why you may not be getting the results that you are looking for. Not addressing the root cause. Why are you struggling to lose weight? Why do you not have enough energy? Why are you struggling to sleep? You need to address the root cause. Not keeping your blood sugar balanced. So eating things that we are told are healthy because of marketing, but not understanding, not looking at labels. So eating things like whole grain, whole wheat bread instead of white bread, eating things like low fat or drinking low fat milk or low fat yogurt instead of whole cream or whole milk yogurt. Those sort of things are actually not keeping your blood sugar balanced. And we are told is healthy, but unfortunately is not. Eating well in the week, but binging on the weekends. This is a big one. This is something that even to this day, I struggle with sometimes. So fully guilty of that. And then one that I mentioned, focusing on low-fat foods. Your low-fat yogurt, your low-fat milks, all that kind of thing. Not doing us any favors. Teresa, anything you want to add in there?
Maybe just, I don't know if you're going to bring this up at a later stage, but something that is pretty important to me is starting breakfast with a protein meal and not with a high sugar meal, because a high sugar meal just sets you on the wrong path for the entire day. You start craving sugar and you can't stop it. So, protein is the way to go for breakfast.
Very true, very true. And that ties in, we are going to talk about it a little bit later, but that ties in with keeping your blood sugar balanced, right? If you're starting that, your first meal of the day off with, let's say, for example, a bowl of oatmeal or jungle oats that we are taught is really healthy, a really good breakfast. And unfortunately, if we're not adding the protein in or the healthy fats, all we're doing is spiking our blood sugar. We're going to have energy dips. We're going to have cravings. So these are the kind of things we're going to be talking to you about today. Where I wanted to start off with this workshop. Teresa, just give me a thumbs up. Is it lagging or can you hear me? It seems like you're good. Okay.
All good on my side. If anybody else is lagging, maybe just pop it into the chat box, please.
Yes, please. If you are struggling to hear me, sound is perfect. Great. I wanted to start off today talking to you guys about your relationship with food. I would love it if you feel comfortable, write in the chat for me, what does food mean to you? If we want to change the way we look at food, how we handle food, our food choices, the first step is to identify what is your beliefs and relationship with food. For many years, when I was unhealthy, when I was overweight, at one stage when I was 25, I was like 190 pounds, which is, I was around about 90 kilograms. And I'm a very short person. So for 25 years old, short, 90 kilograms, very unhealthy. Every single thing I did around food, every choice I made around food was, is this going to help me lose weight or is this going to make me fat? My relationship with food many years ago all came down to weight. I would say there were probably 3 things that determined my food choices. Was this going to give me pleasure? Food was something that was pleasurable. Is this going to make me fat, or is this going to contribute to me losing weight? There, I would choose, the low-fat yogurt over the full cream yogurt. Thirdly was a way to fill my boredom. That is pretty much why I ate food. I would also eat my breakfast, lunch, and dinner because that's what you do. I'm not hungry at dinner time, but it's dinner time, so I'm going to eat. Or lunchtime comes, I'm not hungry, but it's an excuse to leave the office because it's lunchtime. Like, that was what food was to me. There's just a few people in the waiting room. Please give me a moment, guys, while I admit them. Teresa, I'm going to make you a co-host. And then if you do see people popping in, you can please just admit them. Thank you. When we look at food, there are 4 aspects that we should be focusing on. And this has been one of the biggest changes, biggest things that have impacted my clients in creating a healthy relationship with food. Number 1, the first component of food. Food is fuel. Food is fuel for your body. If we want more energy, if we want more mental clarity, mental focus, we need to be fueling our body with more food and the right kind of fuel. Your car, if you are driving a petrol car, it is designed to be fueled with petrol. It was built that way. If you are going to put diesel into your petrol tank, you are not going to go very far, if anywhere at all, and you are going to cause so much damage to that car that it is going to take a ton of time and a ton of money to fix. So what is the kind of fuel that you are putting into your body? Is it processed food? Most of the time. I'm not saying that we need to avoid it all the time, but most of the time, what are you doing 80% of the time? Are you fueling your body with protein, fiber, lots of fruits and vegetables, healthy fats, the things that every cell in our body needs on a daily basis? Or are you fueling your body with processed junk food that is completely void of nutrients? So food is fuel. Food is also information. Every single thing we put into our body sends information to our genes. Our genes then send information to every cell in our body to tell them how to behave, how to act. If you are sitting at work and a colleague comes to you and gives you a stack of papers or gives you information and says, please produce X, Y, and Z based off of this information, and you follow the instruction and the outcome is wrong, and your boss comes at you from a dizzy height moaning because why did you do this? This is completely wrong. This is not what I wanted. And you say, well, I'm just giving you what I was given. Like if I was given bad information, unfortunately, there's going to be a bad outcome. And it's the same thing with our cells. Like whatever information we are putting in through our food, our cells are going to respond accordingly. We know how much cancer is all over the place at the moment. And it's not, what I hear people say is that your cells just turn cancerous. It's just unfortunate. It happens to some people, it doesn't happen to others. And we can't think like that. What is telling the cells to turn cancerous? Something is telling it to do that. So with your food, you are sending either messages of health or you are sending messages of disease. Food is information. Thirdly, food is medicine. This is my favorite one. There is a saying, and I can't remember who said this. It might have even been Hippocrates. I can't remember. But food can be your most powerful form of medicine, or it can be your slowest form of poison. When I heard that, like it really, really, really sunk in for me. And everything I'm sharing, guys, there's no judgment. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to judge you. I'm not judging you on any of your choices. I just want to create awareness for you. So food is medicine. If there was a pharmaceutical drug out there that promised to increase your energy, get rid of your joint pain, increase mental focus, help you maintain a healthy weight, sleep better, bring down high cholesterol, high blood sugar, all this kind of thing in one pill, it would be the best selling pill in the market. If it guaranteed to extend your life by another 10, 15 years, every single person in the world would want to be on this pill. But there is no pill like that. We have it at the end of our fork. We have it on our plates. Food is medicine. And lastly, real quick, food is connection. Food is connection to each other. We always meet over Christmas, over Thanksgiving, over Easter, over birthdays. We meet for a meal. We don't always meet for a coffee. At dinner time, hopefully we gather around the table with our family to connect over our day, our wins, our struggles. But food is also connection to the earth. And it is connection to our bodies. When you are cooking your meal, you get to feel and smell and look at the colorful bell peppers and the tomatoes and the apples and all this kind of thing. You can smell it, you can feel it. It's exciting. We get to connect to where our food came from. When I'm cutting like the tomatoes, I'm like, this is really good for my eyes. When I'm putting cauliflower in my food, I'm like, my liver's going to love this. You get really connected to your food, and we don't get this when we are buying packaged foods. We don't get this when we are grabbing a McDonald's burger or a Burger King. We don't have that connection. And it shows up in the disconnect we have with our food is showing up in the disconnect that we have with our bodies at the moment. With us not being able to identify where our symptoms are coming from, overlooking a lot of our symptoms because a lot of us have felt so bad for so long. We actually don't really know what normal feels like anymore, right? Or you've had a symptom for so long. Let's say it's bloating. I've been bloated for so long, it just is what it is. Like I deal with it. I get headaches, I get migraines. It is what it is. I don't sleep well, but I haven't slept well since I was 20. So, it is what it is. We have those symptoms for so long, we just ignore it. We disconnect to what it means or why we should even fix it. So food is fuel, food is information, food is medicine, and food is connection. Next time you are eating something, regardless of what it is, think of those 4 components. Next time you are cooking a meal, think of those 4 components. These are the foundations to helping you create a healthy relationship with food. In your workbook, we have these listed out for you. Print out the resources given to you in the workbook and stick it on your fridge. These are things that are going to help you going forward. All right, everybody good? Give me a thumbs up. Making sense? Happy? Fantastic. How should I say this? I'm not going to get very technical with you guys, but I do want you to understand the basics, because there is a lot of people out there that have this really big fear around carbs, whether it's for weight or whether it's because of the keto craze that's going on. Carbs have become the enemy. But there are 6 components of food that we need every single day, every day. In order to, build a house, you need to have concrete, you need to have bricks, you need to have a wall, you need to have a roof, you need to have a door. These are all things that make up your house. And if we look at your cells, it needs certain components all the time to thrive. Or you take a plant, for example, you can't water it once every 6 months and give it like a liter of water and say, well, I've watered it now. No, it needs water every day or every 3rd day, whatever the plant is. It needs this on a regular basis to survive. It needs sunlight. And with your cells, every day they need certain nutrients, or regularly they need certain nutrients. So all your food is broken down into 6 factors. You have your macronutrients, which are nutrients that we need in large amounts. It is made up of protein, it is made up of healthy fats, and it is made up of carbohydrates. Those 3 are your macronutrients that we all need in very large amounts to thrive. Then you have your micronutrients. things we need in smaller doses. Those are your vitamins, your minerals, and something we call phytonutrients, which I'm going to speak to you about. Without those 3 micronutrients, our body cannot function. Your magnesium, your vitamin C, your vitamin D, all these kinds of things. Now, you might need, let's say, 100 grams of protein every day, but you can't take 100 grams of vitamin C every day. That would be insane. So you've got your macros and your micros. Now, what I really want to focus on in this category, before handing over to Teresa, is what I mentioned, the phytonutrients. Put in the chat, say me, if you have heard the term phytonutrients before, if you know what I'm talking about. Let's see. One of my favorite things to talk about, because not many people can share that they know about it. Amazing. So there's a few. Great. Great. Me, but I don't remember what it is. Oh, guys, I'm going to have to rush through this because I honestly could sit and talk about phytonutrients for the next 5 hours. Okay, so phytonutrients are found in all fruits and vegetables, and they are the compounds that give your food color. So any fruit or vegetable that is very deep, that has very deep, rich color, has much more phytonutrients. So if we take a beet, for example, that's a dark red, dark purple color, it is packed with phytonutrients, as opposed to a green apple that has the green skin but the white flesh. That has phytonutrients, but far less than your beets. Now, what phytonutrients are is you could basically call it the plant's immune system. If your plant's outside in the garden, if a rainstorm comes and the leaves get damaged, maybe some of the roots break off, whatever the case is, the bugs are eating your plants, we don't run outside and put a Band-Aid on. We don't run outside and throw a bunch of supplements onto the plants. We nourish them from time to time, but we don't run to its aid. Your plants come right on their own. And this is due to their phytonutrients. It's their immune system. It protects them and it helps them to repair damage. Now, the really cool thing is when we eat those phytonutrients, we get the same healing and protective benefits. It's incredible. So the higher our diet is in phytonutrients, the healthier we will be. The more health we can create, and the stronger, the more resilient our body becomes to avoid disease. So we want to be getting a ton of color and variety into our diet. You might take, one of the color categories is black, blue, and purple foods. So you might be eating blueberries every day to get the dark food in. But your blueberries are very different to your blackberries in terms of the phytonutrients and the benefit you get. So we want to be getting a variety in, so we can cover all our systems, so we can feed all our gut bacteria, so we can get a full, complete benefit. Teresa, I'm going to hand over to you to continue this conversation around color and phytonutrients.
Great. I'll continue with antioxidants if that's okay.
100%.
So I am going to get a little bit technical here. Antioxidants play a crucial role in neutralizing free radicals. Free radicals are atoms or molecules with an unpaired electron, and that makes them highly unstable and very reactive. So these free radicals can damage our cells and our tissues through a process known as oxidative stress. And oxidative stress can actually contribute to an increase in inflammation, and it can also lead to an increased risk of our degenerative conditions like Alzheimer's and aging, even cancer, immune system dysfunction, heart disease, and of course some other diseases. So it sounds very scary, but it is a totally natural process, and it is part of normal living. every time that we breathe or that we eat or that we digest our food, free radicals are formed. And what we need to be aware of, though, is that there are certain lifestyle factors and environmental toxins that can dramatically increase the formation of free radicals. And a few examples of those would be things like stress, not sleeping enough, air pollution, cigarette smoke, and then eating processed foods, following a processed diet, eating charred meats, and also consuming overheated oils. So to minimize oxidative stress, we need to really do whatever we possibly can to minimize our exposure to these external factors, and we need to include antioxidants in every single meal. So where do we find the antioxidants? And it will come as no surprise to you if I say that we find them in a variety of fruit and vegetables, but we also find them in some herbs and spices. So think black pepper, cayenne pepper, or chilies, actually any type of chili, cinnamon. We can think of turmeric and rosemary. Those are all beautiful herbs and spices that we can add. So there are a few essential antioxidants. And essential just means that the body can't produce it by itself. We need to obtain it from our diet. So these are vitamin A, and we get those through those beautiful yellow and orange colored beta carotenes, vitamin C, vitamin E, and then selenium. So if you eat 2 Brazil nuts a day, you've got your daily requirement for selenium completely covered, and you're good to go. All right, so since I've already touched now on consuming overheated oils, I really would like to change the direction just a little bit and now start talking to you more about those little changes with big impacts that we can start implementing immediately. And the first change that I want to talk about is cooking oils. There are an abundance of cooking oils available, but unfortunately, not all oils are created equal. A good cooking oil has a high smoke point, and the smoke point is that white smoke that an oil emits when it has been exposed to a high temperature or it has been exposed to heat for a prolonged period of time. Beyond this point, the oil starts to break down and oxidize, and then it starts to create free radicals. So some examples of cooking oils with a high smoke point would be avocado oil, coconut oil, and ghee. Ghee is clarified butter. So butter is taken, gently heated, and when the milk solids fall to the bottom, only the butter fat on top remains, and that is then scooped off and used as ghee. Olive oil is always a little bit controversial, but we really should only be using olive oil for low heat cooking. And when it comes to the extra virgin olive oil, you really only want to use it to drizzle it on top of already cooked vegetables, or use it in a salad dressing. You really don't want to be cooking with an EVOO. So always try and get your hands on organic, unrefined, and cold pressed oils. Cold pressed means that a seed or a nut was taken and it was gently pressed under circumstances that did not involve any heat whatsoever until it releases its oil. And that oil is immediately then bottled and stored in a dark container. So you'll usually see these oils in either an amber or in a green glass bottle. And so they need to be stored in a cool and a dark environment. These oils should not be stored on top of a countertop or next to the stove where there is a lot of heat. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of a frog in my throat. I'm just keeping it real. I have a bit of a cold going, and it happens to the best of us. So please just excuse that. Just one last little tip that I want to give you guys when it comes to the cooking oils is that when you open them, close the lid as quickly as you possibly can. If you leave them open for prolonged periods of time, then oxygen gets in and it starts to oxidize the oils, which obviously we do not want. Please avoid refined vegetable oils. And that could include your soybean oils, corn oil, canola oil, sunflower oil. These oils are highly processed, and they often use harsh chemicals to extract the oils from the nuts and the seeds. They also, the omega-6s in there are highly inflammatory, something that you really just want to stay away from. Stay clear from hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated foods, and that would include things like margarine, vegetable shortening, and even some processed oils and processed foods. So they are very high in trans fats, and that will just increase the risk of developing heart disease and, of course, many other illnesses. So there is another recommendation. Stephanie, yeah, that was you. Simple hack. Use the right oil to cook with. Oh, you're just repeating what I'm saying. Thank you. Thank you for summarizing. I thought that was a comment from somebody. All right, so my next
summary in the chat of what you're sharing.
Fantastic. Thank you. I'll do the same for you then going forward. So my next tip, and it might sound a little bit is that you need to wash your fruits and veggies. So we need to wash our fruit and veg not only to prevent foodborne illnesses, but unfortunately in today's world, almost no food is 100% free of pesticides. Even organic food may have some pesticide residue. So it's really important that we rinse them very well before we eat them. That's part of the external toxins that we need to try and limit in our lives. So, just by rinsing your produce under cool and running water, you already get rid of some pesticides. Some people like to use a solution of water and salt or water and vinegar, and that is even more effective. I have just found that a combination of water and baking soda is the easiest and the most effective and probably the most cost effective for me. So very easy to use. If you have a salad spinner, take your leafy greens, pop them in your salad spinner, fill it up with water and add a teaspoon of baking soda, swish it around a little bit and let it soak for 10 minutes. Then you want to dump the water, rinse it again, and you can spin it dry. If you don't have a spinner, then you can use the same method as you would use for any other vegetable. And that is to take a big bowl, fill it up with your veggies, fill it up with water, and then you would use 2 teaspoons of baking soda for approximately every liter of water that you use. So once again, mix it all together, let it sit there for about 10 minutes, and then you would dump the water, rinse it again, and gently then dry it with a clean kitchen cloth or with a paper towel. So the same would apply to any fruit with a smooth skin. We're thinking nectarines or apples or even cherries. And for the more gentle fruit or the more fragile fruit like a raspberry, you can just put them in a strainer and let the cold water run over them to clean them up a little bit. And then my last little recommendation here is just to look at the proportions of the different food groups on your plate. And I'll see if I can quickly just share a slide with you guys. Let me just see here. Steph, please tell me if you see that. Not yet. You're on mute, so I can't. Let me just.
I don't see it yet.
Okay, there we go. That should do the trick now.
There we go.
There you go. So I know it's not in presenter mode, but I won't keep it here very long.
No problem.
So if you look at this, you'll see that half of the plate is filled with fruit and vegetables. So here we would prefer non-starchy vegetables and low GI fruit. Protein only fills a quarter of your plate. And I will talk into why it is important to make sure that you get the best quality sources for animal protein a little bit later on. And then the remaining quarter is filled with proper whole grains. And preferably here we would be looking at gluten-free grains and ancient grains like quinoa and millet and buckwheat and amaranth. But we also want to include brown rice and oats. So what I just want to tell you guys here is that please just use this as a guideline, because it really depends on where you are on your particular health journey. Even something healthy like a whole grain or low GI fruit might not be ready or right for you on your healing journey at this very moment. But the major theme here is that we want our plates to be filled more with vegetables than with the rest of the food groups. And Steph, I'll hand back to you now.
Thank you, Teresa. If you can just stop your screen share here, please.
Stop sharing now. Yep. Oh, goodness gracious me. Can you carry on while I figure this out? Sorry, this is also my first Zoom sharing.
No problem. If there's a little green button at the bottom of your screen, you can just click that as well. And it should say stop share.
Not quite taking me there. Sorry if I'm hijacking your part. Please continue. Thank you very much.
No problem. All right, guys. So to recap there, what Teresa was saying, just in brief, your simple health hack number 1 is look at your cooking oils. Simple health hack number 2, wash your fruits and veggies properly. The reason we say this, as Teresa mentioned, the antioxidants and the free radicals, we're trying to avoid that oxidative stress, and your cooking oils, your pesticides and things on your fruits and veggies are going to create oxidative stress in your body. We called this workshop Eat for Energy, and you might be thinking, well, why are they teaching us to wash fruits and vegetables? But what I want you guys to remember is the more toxins we have in our body, the less energy we actually put out. It takes an extreme amount of energy for your body to get rid of toxins. And when your cells are packed with toxins, they can't function properly. Imagine in your room, if you didn't throw out the trash for a year, if you didn't get rid of all the junk, you're not going to be able to move. You're not going to be able to walk around. It's going to be a horrible environment to be in. You're not going to function. And this is what happens with our cells when we are on a daily basis putting so many toxins in and we're not getting rid of them. So these small things, adjusting your oils, washing your fruits and vegetables, we're going to be reducing our toxic load. We're going to be reducing the inflammation in our body. And then using lots of herbs and spices, we're going to be increasing the antioxidants in our body. That's going to help rebalance, help repair, help get rid of this oxidative stress. And all of those things are going to contribute to you feeling better, looking better, functioning better, all these things that we want. And they are the low-hanging fruit, the foundational stuff. I love that Teresa shared My Plate with you and said this is the guideline. We should all be aiming to do that at least 80% of the time. It's what our plate should look like. Yes, there may be things that you shouldn't be eating right now that Teresa mentioned. So you might, if you are on a specific protocol and you need to avoid grains or even things like cauliflower, if you're dealing with SIBO, that's a different situation. We don't have to go that deep. If we can just get into, no matter what the problem is, you might need a detox. You might need a gut protocol. But it all starts, if you can follow the guidelines of that My Plate. If you ever do move into a deeper protocol, it's going to be so much easier for you to do because you were already eating half your plates as fruits and vegetables or fresh produce and whole grains and healthy proteins. It's going to be so easy for you to follow a deeper treatment protocol if need be, if you have these foundational things in place. So, simple health hack number 3. What would that be? Number 3, yes. Focus on different colors. This goes back to what I was sharing about phytonutrients earlier. When you are looking at the My Plate structure and half your plate is fruits and vegetables, how many different colors can you get in there? I talk a lot about eating the rainbow. The more color you can bring in and variety, the healthier, the more you are going to create health. So within that, like half your plate being fruits and veggies and produce, is it just broccoli and carrots? Or is it broccoli and carrots and purple cabbage and tomato, like all these different things? How colorful is that section? And there are 6 color categories of food. We should be aiming to eat at least one food from each of those every day. And what I really want you guys to focus on here is variety, not quantity. I'm not saying you need to eat a cup of blueberries every day, but can you eat a quarter cup of blueberries, a quarter cup of strawberries kind of thing? Can we get variety in? So the 6 color categories of your food, just one a day. If that means 2 blueberries, 1 cherry tomato, like it doesn't matter. Get those color categories in. Your first one is your red foods. Your tomato, your strawberries, your red bell pepper, your radish, all your red foods. And interestingly here, your color categories, the phytonutrients we find in, and the antioxidants that we find in those color categories actually benefit specific body systems. Your blueberry will have a benefit through many different systems in your body, but the main system it helps when we look at blue foods is your brain, your cognitive health. But going back, I'm jumping here, going back to your red foods, your tomato, your strawberries, all those kind of things, the phytonutrients that we find in there are incredibly beneficial for your immune health. So if you are struggling with a very weak immune system, especially now with winter in South Africa, we should be getting as many red foods in as we can. The second color category is orange. Your orange foods like pumpkin, carrots, turmeric. We include our spices, we include our herbs into this. Your orange fruit, your peaches, all this kind of thing. Orange foods are incredibly beneficial for your hormonal system and your reproductive health. Things like pawpaw or papaya, all this kind of stuff, really, really, really good for hormones and reproductive health. Your yellow foods, so things like your ginger, your yellow carrots, your yellow bell peppers, pineapple, all that kind of stuff is really good for digestive health. If you're struggling with digestion, we want to look at incorporating lots of yellow foods in as well. I'm not saying just yellow foods, guys. Don't say I've got gut issues, I'm only eating yellow. Like, we need variety, but just to help you understand like where the main power of these color foods are playing. Green foods are heart health, actually really, really beneficial for your heart health. It also supports your detoxification system, but it's really good for heart health as well, which is something that people don't realize when they're eating their spinach or their kale or their Brussels sprouts and all that good stuff. Then your second last color category is your blue foods. Your blue, purple, and black all fall into the same category. So that's things even like pepper, chia seeds, blueberries, blackberries, purple cabbage, all that, figs. This is the area, the one color category that people struggle with the most. They don't get enough of this in. It's because there's just not as many purple foods that we think of that we eat regularly as what there are red foods, but it's an important one because it's really good for your memory, your cognitive function, your brain health. And the last color category, this is where unfortunately most of our food does come from, is white, brown, and tan. That's sort of all together. So that would be things like your nuts and seeds would often fall into white, brown, tan. Your cauliflower, your potatoes, that kind of thing, all fall into the white, brown, tan color category. So we might be eating a lot of rice, a lot of potatoes, a lot of almonds, all this kind of stuff. Most of our food is unfortunately coming from the white, brown, and tan color category, as well as the yellow color category. So I encourage you guys to start eating a bit more variety. That's your simple health hack number 3. What about mushrooms? So mushrooms would fall into the white, brown, tan color category. But as I said earlier, just because the phytonutrients are specific or have specific benefits for a certain area in the body doesn't mean they don't benefit other areas. So like, for example, the mushrooms. They are incredibly good. Your white, brown, and tan foods don't actually have a specific organ or system that they support. That's why I didn't mention one now. That is all throughout. They support your immune system, your digestive system. They support everything. Your nuts, your seeds, your mushrooms, all your white, brown, and tan foods. So let me just pull up the chat here. Mushrooms are super high in fiber. Yeah, for sure. Does that answer your question, Art? You can just give me a thumbs up. Okay, fantastic. But mushrooms, really good for your immune health, really good for your brain, incredible for your gut. If you are not dealing with something like SIBO or parasites and things like that, or a fungal infection, I wish we would all be taking a lot more medicinal mushrooms every single day. All right, so that is your color categories. If we can focus on adding more color into our diet, eating the rainbow. In the workbook, if you do not have the workbook, put it in the chat. I'll actually drop a link in there shortly where you can go and download it. In the workbook, I have given you guys a rainbow tracker. This is something that to this day I do in my kitchen every single week. The minimum we should be eating, minimum, this is the starting point for my clients, is 30 different whole foods a week, 30. Now, some of you might be like, what? That is crazy. But ideally, we want to get to 50 or 60 a week, but to start off, just aiming for 30. And I know this sounds crazy, or it might sound crazy for a lot of you, but it is so easy to get 30 whole foods in. I've actually got a document. I don't think I put it in the workbook, but if you want it, I will drop it. I will email it to you guys afterwards. Just say me in the chat if you do want it. I have a document where I show you how to get 30 whole foods in one day, not even 1 week. And it's easy, guys. I don't know why I didn't put this in the workbook. But what you did get in the workbook is your tracker. So I encourage you to print that out, put it on your fridge or your counter or the cupboard where your plates are. So every time you're grabbing a plate from to eat, you can write what you are eating on that tracker. You can include your spices, your herbs, everything, but it's broken down into color categories. So if you are making a salad and you have strawberries and tomatoes in there, put it into the red section. Anything you eat that week, put it onto this tracker, but you only put a food on there once. If you eat blueberries 5 times that week, you don't add it 5 times, you put it on once. At the end of the week, see for yourself what your number is. What is your whole food number? If it's only 8, then 30 might be a bigger stretch. Then say to yourself, all right, I had 8 different whole foods this week. I'm going to adjust my shopping list a little bit. I'm going to adjust the meals I eat next week. And next week, I'm going to aim for 12 or 15. Once you hit that number, all right, I've got 15, let me go for 20. All right, I've got that number, let me go for 30. And it normally doesn't take longer. A client I was working with recently, she was eating about 6 whole foods a week. And I encouraged her just to do 12. And literally a week later when we met, she had done 32. And I'm like, wow, okay, so you don't have to go in such small increments. It's really easy. But I encourage you to just start there. If you are already on about 25, then go for 40. Like increase it, but set your limit. If you're on 8, don't shoot for 50. You're going to set yourself up for disappointment. So anyway, use the tracker that's been given to you. I've got to be cognizant of time here. We're running a little bit low. Real quick, one of the principles that I love to follow, it's following on from the My Plate picture that Teresa sent you. It's also in your workbook, so you guys can print out, is something called eating the Fab Four. But it's the same as what Teresa was saying with my plate. But asking yourself, on this plate, these half of my food is vegetables, the other part is protein. Do I have all 4 components on this plate, the Fab Four? Number 1, is your clean protein? Is there clean protein a quarter of my plate? Number 2, are there healthy fats? Can I put some avocado here? Can I drizzle olive oil over my vegetables? Can I sprinkle some chia seed or flax seed over my veggies or my salad? Can I throw 3 olives onto my plate? Is there a healthy fat here? If I'm having a smoothie, can I throw some coconut milk in there? Can I throw some almond butter? Is there a healthy fat on this plate? Number 3 is your fiber. And that's what Teresa was also showing in the My Plate, that those whole grains would be classified as your fiber. Any fruits and vegetables on your plate is fiber. So for example, what this would look like is having your piece of chicken for your protein. Next to it, you would have a quarter avocado or half an avocado or whatever. There's your fat. Then I've got to get fiber on there. All right, let's roast up some sweet potato. Let's make some carrots. Let's throw some red cabbage, whatever the case is. There is your fiber. Done. And the 4th component of the Fab Four is a leafy green, which of course it does tie into fiber, but this is something we need to start incorporating more of as well. And it can be simple. You might not be having a salad with your meal, but can you take a handful of spinach, dice it up, squeeze it with lemon juice, and just throw your piece of steak on top of that, or your chicken on top of that? Make a little bed of spinach or whatever it is. You might want to use microgreens, leafy greens, and you can put that on top of whatever you're making. It takes 3 seconds to throw microgreens on top there. You don't have to cook anything else. And there is your 4th component. So look at the Fab Four. Do you have a healthy fat? Do you have a clean protein? Do you have fiber? And do you have leafy greens on your plate? If you cannot do this for every meal, can you commit to doing this for 1 meal every single day? And what you will notice here, guys, we are not talking a lot about what you shouldn't be doing or what you need to cut out. We are focusing on what you need to put in. Those building blocks, what we need every single day, those 6 areas, those 6 nutrient categories that we need. If you can put everything you need in, you'll find you're not actually going to have space for whatever else is left. And notice when I talk about the Fab Four, we're talking about My Plate. I didn't say don't eat the pasta or don't eat the bread or don't eat potatoes or whatever it is. Make sure you've got all those 4 components on there. You might still want the slice of toast with your breakfast. But do you have a healthy fat? Do you have leafy greens? Do you have your protein? Do you have fiber? Get that onto your plate. Briefly, going to jump into blood sugar balancing. Just go in the chat, guys. Are you with us? Are you following this? Let me know. Say yes if you are learning something new or if this is valuable for you. Put yes in the chat. Because if not, we're going to have to change direction really fast here. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes. Great. Teresa, we're on it. All right. I'm going to hand over to you. Do you want to jump into blood sugar balancing or do you want me to start with that?
Please continue. I'll add if there's anything. I'm just cognizant of the time. We're really running low.
Okay. Blood sugar balancing. Simple thing that we're not going to go deep in blood sugar balancing. We will do another workshop on this. But if you are following the My Plate, if you are following the Fab Four that I just spoke to you, you will automatically be balancing your blood sugar. What happens when our blood sugars are spiking too high? Also, very brief overview. When your blood sugar spikes really high, it causes your body to release high amounts of insulin. This in turn causes your body to release cortisol, which is your stress hormone. Both of these things encourage fat storage. It literally tells your body to store everything that is coming in. So if you are trying to lose weight if you are trying to increase your energy and nothing is working, you need to look at your blood sugars. If they are running too high, if they are rising too high, everything that goes up must come down. So as your blood sugar goes up, when it comes down, you have that massive energy crash. So if you are starting your day off with maybe a toast and peanut butter, or a blueberry muffin, or a bagel and cream cheese, or even a bowl of oatmeal with maybe some cinnamon, because that's the healthy breakfast, you're going to find you feel quite full. You got to digest all of this. And then here, 10, 11 o'clock, you have a big energy crash. Then you're like, well, I need a coffee. I need more coffee. And it's got milk and sugar in, or you need to grab that can of Coke or a chocolate bar. And this happens again after your lunch, because your lunch is not balanced. And then 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you have this big crash, because your energy is up and down, up and down. Therefore, your insulin, your cortisol, your hormones are up and down, up and down. And all of this actually creates that oxidative stress on our body as well when we have these levels up and down, up and down. So carbohydrates is what brings your blood sugars up. Carbs broken down in the body is nothing more than sugar. So every time we eat carbs, whether it is from a slice of bread, or whether it's from a potato that is healthier, or whether it's from oatmeal, it becomes sugar in the body. To negate the effect of your blood sugar balance, or your blood sugar rising, all we need to do, simple hack here. This is hack number, number 5. Pair your carbs with a protein, or pair your carbs with a fat. Have your toast, but put smashed avocado and an egg on top of it. Have your potatoes, but eat it with some meat or some avocado. Because when you pair a carb with a fat or with a protein, it takes longer for your body to digest. Therefore, the time it takes to get into your bloodstream, the sugar, is much slower. So you're going to have a gradual rise instead of a massive spike. Your insulin is not going to be spiked. Your cortisol is not going to be spiked. Your body is not going to be told to go into fat storage. Your energy is not going to crash, and you're going to be able to maintain weight much easier. Simple hack. Eat a carb. Don't ever eat them alone. Don't eat a bag of chips by itself. Eat a bag of chips with some fish dip, with some guacamole, with something, and you will see the difference. Teresa, anything you want to add? You're good. I'm going to hand over to you now that you guys have the basics of food, with some simple hacks, as promised. Simple hacks to help you increase your energy, maintain your weight, and things you can do right away. Simple. We're going to talk to you a little bit about how to shop. Teresa, do you want to jump in?
I'll jump in. We're running out of time, so I'm going to give you 2 tips, my 2 top tips. So the first one is that we know that we shouldn't go shopping when we're hungry. But something else that we also need to consider is that we need to shop the periphery. And that basically just means that we need to purchase most of our foods from the outer aisles. So if you imagine your favorite supermarket, you'll know that this is where they keep the fresh vegetables and the fruit and the unprocessed meat. The packaged and processed foods are kept in the center aisles. So this doesn't mean that you need to avoid the center aisles forever, because this is also where you will get some of your staples, like your whole grains and some canned beans and even some chickpeas. So in an ideal world, we would want to take the dry bean or the chickpea, soak it overnight, and then cook it very well the next day. But this is not always possible for everybody all of the time. So the problem with the packaged and the processed foods really is that the foods industry employ craveability experts. And these guys carefully engineer foods that are really high in fat, sugar, and salt in such a way that it hits the sweet spot, and it makes us come back for more. We are absolutely hardwired for sugar, and children are even more vulnerable because they are growing and their brains view sugar as instant growth. So they'll keep on craving this once they're hooked. And even for some of us, even as adults, you know, some of the salt, the sugar, and the fats are as addictive as some narcotics. So it just depends on how you're wired. So my advice would be to completely eliminate processed foods, because chances are that you won't be able to stop after having 2 cookies or just a small handful of potato chips. So rather not go there. It's the same as being addicted to alcohol. You can't just have a glass and call it quits. And then, of course, packaged foods and processed foods also then have added stuff. And we're looking at artificial flavorants and colorants and even sweeteners. We're looking at those highly inflammatory omega-6 oils that you will basically find absolutely everywhere. And also preservatives that we really do not need in our diets. And then my second tip for today is that I really just want to go down the road and discuss why it really is so important to make sure that you know the source of your animal proteins. So you are all familiar, I'm sure, with concentrated animal feeding operations, also called feedlots. This is where the livestock are kept in very close confinement, either in stalls, in pens, or sometimes even in cages. And they do not graze or forage, and they do not eat their natural diet. Instead, they are being fed genetically modified grains, such as soybean and corn, and any other genetically modified grain. So they often eat where they urinate and where they defecate. They're often given routine antibiotics to keep them healthy and to prevent the outbreak of illnesses because of this close confinement that they live in. And they're also often given growth hormones to help them grow faster and to gain more muscle weight. So it's not an ideal situation for the animal, for the environment, and it certainly is not great for us when we eat their meat either, because ultimately whatever they take in and whatever has been administered to them, we will take in some form or another. Another thing that we need to consider here is that an animal fed on grains has a totally different fatty acid profile to an animal that was raised on its natural diet, like take grass, for instance. So we typically need in our diets a little bit more omega-6s than we need omega-3s. A good, healthy, balanced, non-inflammatory ratio would be around 1 to 2 and maybe 3 omega-6s to 1 omega-3. So you can imagine an animal that has been given grains, which are naturally high in omega-6s throughout its entire life. It would definitely upset that very delicate balance between the omega-6s and the omega-3s. And by default, we will be consuming a highly inflammatory food. So even if you think that you are doing yourself and your family a big favor by shopping the periphery and getting a slab of unprocessed meat and cooking it up yourself, it still is an inflammatory product. So what do you need to look out for to prevent this then, or to avoid this then? We want to look out for labels like free range, grass-fed and grass-finished beef. For chicken and eggs, you want to look out for free range and pasture-raised. At Wellness Warehouse, we have 2 amazing egg suppliers. We've got Joe's Eggs and Eddie's Eggs, and their eggs come from really happy and healthy chicken. The chickens are left to do what chickens do best, and you can literally taste it in the quality of the eggs. There has been a little bit of an issue with the supply because there's been chicken flu going around, but that should start picking up again very soon, hopefully. And the other thing is to just explore some farmers markets in your area, or to order direct from the farmers themselves. So a few of my favorites, I'm based in Gauteng, so I'll share those with you. I'm sorry for the lady in Spain. Unfortunately, you won't be able to get this. But there is a farm where you can order online, and it's called Farmers Club, and they deliver grass-fed, free-range, hormone and antibiotic-free beef to your door. I also love the Bryanston Organic Market. There is a butcher by the name of the Bry Butcher, and he supports farmers that produce grass-fed and grass-finished beef. So unfortunately, he does not deliver, but if you're on his list, you can pre-order and then collect from him on a Thursday or a Saturday. And the same goes for Impala Butchery. They provide grass-fed and grass-finished beef. They're located on Bayers Nordia in Northcliffe. And then Stephanie likes to use Red Barn free-range farms for deliveries when she's in South Africa. So they deliver in the garden route, and they provide chicken and beef and lamb and pork and even eggs. So if you are based in Cape Town, the Oranje Zicht Farmers Market is probably your best bet. And yeah, with that, Steph, I think I'm going to end because we only have 15 minutes left, and I would like to leave a few more minutes for questions if we do have any.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Teresa. I appreciate everything that you have just shared. Guys, like Teresa said, if you just a quick Google search of places near you, and you will find these good quality meats. There is an assumption that grass-fed beef is far more expensive than conventionally raised. It is not. It depends where you are shopping. So as Teresa mentioned, that Farmers Club, if you are in South Africa, they deliver throughout Gauteng, they deliver in parts of the Free State, they do it in KZN as well, and then Red Barn Farm delivers all throughout the Cape, the Western Cape. In the US, I know there's a few people I see on here that are US based. My favorite places to go, honestly, if I'm in store, places like Sprouts are fantastic for grass-fed beef. You don't have to go to Whole Foods and spend like half your freaking salary on food. You can get it from Sprouts. You can even at Walmart, some Walmarts, they are stocking grass-fed beef now. If you want to have it delivered to you, there is a place called Thrive Market and the Butcher Box. The Butcher Box is amazing. You can create your own customized meal box, and they will deliver this to you automatically every month. They also partnered up with a fish company, so you can get wild caught Alaskan salmon as well. So take a look online. There is so much available to you. We are running towards the top of the hour now, and I know we said at 90 minutes. Guys, if you want to stay over as we do a Q&A, please, you are welcome to. If you do need to jump off, we get it. The last thing that we wanted to briefly touch on is just eating out. If you are eating out frequently or even occasionally, how can you do this without ruining your progress, without interfering with your health? The first thing I want to say when you eat out is enjoy yourself. Like, let go of any kind of guilt or worry or anything about what's going to happen to your health. Enjoy yourself. Be connected to the people you are out with. Be connected to the place. Have fun. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the worry. Number 2, it is very easy, if you want to follow the Fab Four principle or the My Plate principle when you are eating out. You can take a look at the menu ahead of time if you know where you are going, and decide ahead of time what you are going to eat. Instead of getting to the restaurant, being super hungry, everything looks amazing, and you're like, I'm going to go with this double cheese and bacon burger. Like, decide ahead of time what you are going to want. Then you don't even need to open up the menu. It is very easy at most restaurants, regardless of where you go, to order just a steak, just a piece of grilled fish, most places. And then ask for the side of veggies, ask for the side salad, whatever their side is. You might get some side broccoli or asparagus. I will still end up grabbing probably 2 or 3 chips off of somebody else's plate when I'm eating out, but I do order my veggies, I do order my salad, I have my fish. you can still follow the Fab Four rule while you are out. And just remember, you are a result of what you do 80% of the time. So when you are out and there's a delicious crispy pizza on the menu and you decide you're going to eat that delicious crispy pizza, eat it, as long as that's not something that you are eating every single day. What I do if I know I'm going out for dinner, or I'm eating at a friend's house, or we have a party or a wedding or whatever the case is, if I know I cannot fully control the meal I'm going to eat, I make sure that that morning for breakfast or for lunch, I've had one nutritious meal that day that I have made. One nutritious meal. Is there color? Did I have healthy protein? Did I have healthy fats? Because I know I've done one thing that day to support my body. All right, team, that is everything that we are going to share with you right now. Are there any questions? Please pop in the chat, raise your hand, unmute yourself, just tell me your name and your question. We would love to interact with you and find out how we can better support you. Reaffirming, that's great. Feedback, any feedback you want to drop for us in the chat? Wonderful session. All right, guys, so I did say that we will share with you some tips on how you can go deeper with what we have shared today. I know there's been a lot of information, but our intention really is to make this easy for you guys, as easy as possible to create health in your body. One of the questions that I ask myself every day, whether it's with my health, with my business, with my boyfriend, with my emails, whatever, is how can I make this easy? How can I make this easy? Where is it? Right here. I have an easy button on my desk, because if something is not easy, we are not going to do it. When I'm sitting in overwhelm because I don't know how to solve a problem, or I have a project that seems this big, I ask myself, how does this get to be easy? And I literally push my easy button. It like resets my brain, resets my approach. So if you are struggling to figure out what your next step is with health, if you are struggling to figure out how to get rid of your symptoms, push the easy button. Get yourself one, make a little sticker, just make a mental note, push the easy button. I don't know if you guys can hear this.
That was easy.
I don't know if you hear it, but he basically screams, that was easy, okay? Push the easy button in life. Push the easy button on your health journey. Start simple with this low-hanging fruit. Through the rest of the workshop series, we are going to be diving into things like inflammation. If inflammation is something that you're dealing with right now, we will do a deeper talk on how we can target that directly. But what we have shared today is going to already help you with inflammation, with headaches, with sleep, with energy, with weight. It's the foundations. Next month, Teresa, if I'm not mistaken, we're actually going to be jumping into gut health. If you're dealing with digestive issues, diarrhea, constipation, all this kind of stuff, IBS, we're going to be teaching you how to improve your gut health, because your gut health affects every single area of your body. So start with the basics, make this easy for yourself. With what we have shared today, take the knowledge given to you and go ahead and implement it. And what we can offer you today as attendees of this workshop. Clearly, health is something that you are interested in, whether it is to just feel a little bit better than you do right now, or whether you are dealing with a chronic or autoimmune condition. This is a really, really good place to start. And what we are putting forward for you guys today, myself through Unlimited You, we created very recently, we launched a Health Mastery Academy. So basically what the Health Mastery Academy is it's an easy button for your health journey. Push the easy button and take a look at Health Mastery. Through the Academy, it is a monthly membership for, what's this? The Health Mastery Academy is a monthly membership that we have for you guys. Through the Academy, what we do every month is give you specific meal plans that you can follow should you want to. These meal plans are targeted to your gut health. They are targeted to decrease inflammation. We have meal plans to help with high histamine, weight loss. How can you incorporate more whole foods into your life? You don't need to figure it out alone. It is given to you through the Health Mastery Academy. Every month, you don't walk through this alone. You walk through this with a community, and I'm there to guide you every step of the way. In the Academy membership portal, you also get access to our entire health hack library. These are 3 to 5 minute trainings to answer the questions that we receive most often. What do I do when I'm eating out? How do I get my kids to eat more vegetables? How much sleep should I be getting? How can I improve my sleep? Why are my bowels fluctuating so much? Like my bowel movements, anything you can think of that we get most often is answered for you in a 3 to 5 minute training in the Health Hack Library. Absolutely everything I do is customized to you. So the more questions that we actually get from you guys, the more trainings we will be throwing into that Health Mastery Academy. You'll also get access to my video training library, where I have done trainings and discussions with over 100 of the world's top functional medicine doctors, nutritionists, authors, coaches, and we dive into everything around root cause treatment and holistic health. From Hashimoto's, PCOS, rheumatoid arthritis, meditation, movement, anything that you can, or your most common issues that we deal with, there are trainings for you on how you can treat and reverse these conditions. If you need to learn how to meditate, maybe self-love, self-care is a big concern for you, we have a training available for you within the Health Mastery portal. So I'm going to pop a link in there. The membership is a month-to-month membership. You can cancel at any time. Having said that, you will notice on the website, we use PayPal, and the platform that the website is on is US based. So you will notice that I'm trying to copy this link. Sorry, give me a sec. I'll do that when I'm finished. You will notice that the price is in US dollars. The reason is because the membership, the platform it's on is a US company. All payments are done through PayPal. So for those of you in the US who are on this call, not a problem, go in, you can make payment, there's no issue. For anybody in South Africa or Spain, even though the price is listed in USD, you will be charged in South African rands. There are no additional conversion fees. There is absolutely nothing additional for you. You can use a South African card. You can use a PayPal account. If you have one, you don't have to do it. You do not get any additional charges. The only thing that will differ, on occasion, we have set the membership price in South Africa as 300 Rand, 299. However, with the exchange rate, that will change from 289 Rand all the way through to 310. That is the only variable that you will have. There are no additional charges. I know people get a fright or worried when they see a US amount on a product, but as South Africa, US, Spain, UK, it does not matter. Within the Health Mastery Academy, you also get access to the members only database, the wellness database. This is a list of products that I use that I like. This is a list of where to shop. As Teresa was mentioning to you, Farmers Club, when you're looking for healthy meat, Thrive Market in the US, Sprouts. If you do not know where to get cheap organic produce, if you do not know where to get grass-fed beef, if you do not know what gluten-free brands to buy, If you do not know what supplements you should be using, because not all supplements are made equally, you go into the wellness database, you click supplements, you click groceries, you click online shopping, and there is a list of trusted suppliers with links direct to their website. This is only available to you as a member, and this is how you get to push the easy button on your health. Anything you need will be found in the membership. So I'm going to hand over to Teresa to share the offer from Wellness Warehouse, and I'm going to pop a link for the Health Mastery Academy into the chat. You will also be sent an email. Last thing I didn't mention, that for everybody on this call, if you do join the Health Mastery membership today, the special bonus that we are giving you as attendees is access to Hack Your Biology, which is a workshop series that I created that dives into the exact lab work that you can and should be doing, as well as discounts on ordering those labs. We tackle, if you are dealing with hormonal problems, Hashimoto's, Graves', what are the conditions, what are the tests you should be asking your doctor for? If you are dealing with SIBO, if you are dealing with other digestive issues, no matter what you are dealing with, there is a functional test that you should be doing to help you get to the root cause and to start reversing it. The value of this workshop is $49 or 900 Rand, and we're gifting it to you for free when you join the Health Mastery Academy today. You will also be receiving a private one-on-one session with me where we can dive deeper into what your biggest challenges are at the moment and create a roadmap for you to follow so that you can start to create health in your life. Teresa, go ahead.
Thanks, Steph. So our offer is really short and sweet, and it is a 20% discount on any online purchases exceeding 500 Rand. And this will be valid until the 4th of July. When you make use of this offer, please use the coupon code WellRevolution at checkout, and then your 20% will automatically kick in. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Any questions that you guys have, if you don't want to put your camera on, you can just unmute yourself or pop it into the chat. How do I do this view gallery? You're welcome, guys.